Imagine being a child who has had to move homes 5 times in a single year. You don't have a stable bed, consistent meals, or a trusted adult in your life. Your belongings are stuffed into a trash bag, and you're constantly wondering what's next. Now, picture walking into a classroom, trying to focus while carrying the emotional weight of everything you've been going through, only to be misunderstood, punished, or ignored. This is the reality for many of the nearly 400,000 children in foster care in the United States today. The foster care system is meant to protect children, but instead it often causes instability, trauma, and long-term harm. And when these children go to school, one of the few places they should feel safe, they're often met with teachers who aren't equipped to understand or support them. That's why I'm here today, to make a cause for reforming the U.S. foster system and requiring trauma-informed training for educators. These two changes must work together if we want to support the foster youth, not just in the short term, but in the rest of their lives. Let's begin with the foster care system itself. Problem 1, instability and emotional trauma. Children in foster care are frequently moved from one home to another, sometimes with just a few hours' notice. They lose contact with siblings, they have to switch schools repeatedly, and rarely have a consistent adult they can rely on. This kind of instability leads to chronic stress and emotional trauma that affects how they learn, how they relate to others, and how they view themselves. Problem 2, lack of mental health and transitional support. Despite the fact that up to 80% of foster care have significant mental health needs, most receive little to no counseling. When they turn 18 or 21, many age out of the system with no family, no job, no home, no guidance. In fact, within 18 months of aging out, 20% of former foster youth become homeless. But there's a part people overlook when foster youth make it to school, a place that should help them. They face another major challenge. Problem 3, educators are not trauma informed. Most teachers don't receive any training on how to recognize or respond to trauma. So, when a foster child acts out, shuts down, or seems disengaged, they're often labeled as disruptive or unmotivated. That misunderstanding leads to higher rates of suspension, dropout, academic failure among foster youth. The foster care system and the school system are deeply connected, but neither is currently doing enough, and that needs to change. We need a 2-part solution that brings these systems together. Part 1, reform the foster care system. Stabilize placements by investing in well-supported, trauma-trained foster families. Offer consistent mental health services starting from day 1 of a child's placement. Fund transitional programs for older youth that provide housing, job training, college access, and mentorship. We must move beyond placing children in homes. We need to invest in their healing, their education, and their future. Part 2, require trauma-informed training for educators. Trauma-informed training helps teachers understand that behaviors like aggression or withdrawal are often symptoms of trauma. Learn how to create safe, predictable classroom environments where students feel supported. Use strategies like de-escalation, empathy, and positive reinforcement rather than defaulting to punishment. When educators are trauma-informed, they become part of the solution, not part of the problem. Let me introduce you to a girl I'll call Maya. Maya is 13. She's been in 4 foster homes in 2 years. She struggles with trust. She's behind in school. She has been labeled as defiant. But in a reform system, Maya's life looks completely different. Her current foster parent receives trauma-focused training and works with a caseworker who visits regularly. Maya has weekly therapy sessions and a mentor who helps her apply for a summer science program. At school, Maya's teacher has gone through trauma-informed training. When Maya seems distracted or upset, the teacher doesn't seem to scold her. She checks in with her. She gives her space. She helps her stay engaged. Maya isn't punished for her trauma. She's understood. And because of that, she's starting to trust and to grow and to succeed. This is the future we could create if we take action. Here's how we can make that future a reality. Support policies that reform foster care, like the Family First Prevention Service Act, which focuses on keeping kids with families and providing preventive support. Advocate for trauma-informed training in local school districts. Talk to teachers, principals, school boards, and even superintendents about making this a priority. Volunteer or mentor with local foster care organizations. Sometimes the biggest difference in a child's life is a consistent, caring adult. And finally, educate yourself and others. And the more we talk about these issues, the harder they are to ignore. Foster youth have already gone through so much. They shouldn't have to fight to be seen, heard, or supported. By reforming the foster care system and training our educators, we can give these children something they have been denied for too long, a real chance, not to survive, but to thrive.